Hey guys, my name's Phil Kay and we're going live right at the minute from Store DJ here in Melbourne. I'm here today to show you how to actually sync up Traktor 2.5.1 with either CDJ 2000s or CDJ 900s. In this case I've got one of each just to prove a point that we can do either or. And I'm going to show you how to do it with advanced HID mode. So you've got no latency and the CDJ basically acts exactly how it was made to react to your touch and all the buttons reacting in the correct way that they're supposed to. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use a Mac and I'm going to use a few different things today. The first thing I'm going to show you is my backup. This is my backup. It's an iPod Nano and I've put it in a Lunatic TikTok watch band, so I've always got it with me. This is my watch. iPod cable, plug in straight into a CDJ. I've got everything analyzed here through Rekordbox software. So if all else fails, I've got my trusty, this is 16 gig, so I've got trusty 16 gig with a bunch of music on there. So if my computer fails or if anything goes wrong, I've always got music to back up. The only way I can go wrong now is if my CDJs fail, and that's highly unlikely. That never really happens. So I'm going to put that there. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and set up an audio Midi setup in a Mac. On a PC, you should be able to get ASIO drivers that will do the same thing. So on a Mac, I'm just going to go into Spotlight Audio Midi Setup, and I'm going to aggregate the two machines, because at the minute, the computer is seeing the two players, which I've plugged in via USB. It sees them as two audio interfaces. So I'm going to make them one audio interface. So show audio Midi. I've done this before, so I'll delete it and I'll show you how to do it. So you can see here in this window, it's seeing the two players, the CDJ 2000 and the CDJ 900. I'm going to hit the little plus mark here. It creates a device called aggregate device. I'm going to call this device CDJ 2000/900 rack. And then in this window here, I've got the two players come up. I'm going to select one and I'm going to select the other. And where it says resample, I'm going to untick that and I'm going to close this. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open Traktor. And inside Traktor, which is here, I'm going to let this open up. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and set up my audio preferences. So in audio setup, when I go to the drop-down menu, I should see the CDJ 2900 rack that I've created. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to go into my output routing. Now in this case I'm using an external mixer. I'm using a DJM 850. Now in this case what you could do, if you had an 850 or a 900, you can actually use this as your audio interface. Now the benefits of that would be that you've got an extra 2 channels of USB, and in a program like Traktor you should be able to assign remix decks or an extra 2 decks to that, whether using controllers or an extra 2 CDJs or whatever you wanted to use. But in this case I'm going to go using the audio interfaces that are built into the CDJ. So in case you don't have a 900 or an 850, you don't need one. So in the drop-down menus of external mixer, because that's what we're using, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, even though this is not obvious, this is the way it's going to work, I'm going to use 2 and 3 for deck A, and then I'm going to use front right for deck B. Now what that should do is that should assign deck A to this channel and deck B to this channel, and that's where those players are plugged in. So now that I've done that, you'll see on the screen here, I've hit link and link on these two machines. And in this case where I've got the USB plugged in, it's given me a couple of options. I'm going to hit control mode, and I'm going to click on that as well, and I'm going to tell it control mode, and it's asking me, it's saying turn selector to choose track to deck. I'm going to choose deck A for this guy, and I'm going to use deck B for this guy over here. And it's immediately, as soon as I do that with 2.5.1, you'll notice that all my playlists, I'm being able to scroll my playlists through the CDJ. So as you can see there, I'm scrolling the playlist. Now as soon as I pick up a track that I want to play, you know, let's pick this track, drop it in, press the button. As you can see, this has come up, and now as you'll be able to see, you may not be able to see it, but the waveform comes up. I'm able to stop that and use the needle search on the CDJ, so I can move backwards and forwards through the track at any point I want. Let's go back to the start of the track. I can create loops. I'm going to hit quantize on here so everything's quantized. So there's my loop. I can cut the loops like I would normally. I can map. So there's my loop. I can save that to a hot queue. As you can see, it goes green like it does traditionally on a CDJ. And then I can map points. I can hit. So I've mapped all that, and the most amazing part is there's no latency. And that will happen also on the CDJ 900. So it works pretty much the same way. You can see the artwork. If you want more information on the file, you hit the info button and you can see all the info for that file, and you can see the CDJ talking to the computer. So let's go back to queue on that. Now, if something crashes, you can go directly back to your USB, hit link on this guy here. You've got two options. You've got USB link or control mode, which is the computer, and you can play off your USB stick or your watch or your hard drive or whatever else you choose to do. Now, as an extra little feature, there's a couple of things here. What you'll notice is the forward reverse button hasn't been mapped to do anything. So as you can see, I've mapped it to open my library. That's a feature that they haven't mapped on these things. And the way to do that is if you go into your preferences and you go into your controller manager on a 2000, you can go to the end of the list. I'll delete these little bits here because this is what I've actually done to make it work. So I'll delete them and I'll do them again. So all I want to do basically is Pioneer CDJ 2000 or on the 900, and I can say add in, layout, only browser, hit the learn button and then click that. So it tells it, right, this is the button I want to control that feature with. Unclick the learn, close that, and now as you can see, I can open my library and close my library really, really easily, just by using a button that hasn't been mapped. Another little extra thing to think about is, while I'm doing this, I don't have any control over Traktor's onboard effects. The way to do that, as you can see, I've plugged in the Traktor X1, which is ideal for this kind of scenario. All right, now I've got control over the effect. So if I play deck 1, let's choose control mode. And let's just choose that track, for example. Let's put the loop on. Now I can just go in and go, okay, I want a delay. And I want some reverb. And a flange. So that's basically how you do it. Now the other things I've used is a link cable, obviously, to go from player to player. This little guy here is a Crane Stand Pro. Awesome little piece of kit. It's the best one on the market. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you've got any questions, our Facebook page, Store DJ here in Australia, hit us up some questions. Leave some in the comments if you like, or just go to our website and check out what we've got. But yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to shoot them through. Thank you.